Good Sunday morning, everyone. How's it going?
Good.
Oh,
Man, we got a lot to talk about today. It is Selection Sunday, and somebody is going to get their feelings hurt today. But before we get into that, I need to talk about the business. So we're wrapping up a solid 2023 year, and we've made a lot of accomplishments this year. We were able to send Eric and his brother to the Chicago Cubs game, the home opener this year. We were able to purchase Detroit Lions season tickets and send a veteran or first responder to every single home game in Detroit. And we're looking to build on that and grow it even more this year. We have some exciting news. The nonprofit that this podcast and my other podcast, TSP, supports, I finalized the executive board actually yesterday. We have a super solid team. We're meeting Tuesday night. We're going to talk about fundraising. So I really appreciate everybody's support. Appreciate my co-host, my guest co-host, Scott Henson. He jumps in quite a bit for us. I really appreciate it. And, I couldn't do it without you guys, without the team, but also none of us, the entire team at Minutes Wisely, TSP, and MBR could not do it without our supporters, the people that watch our shows, the people that sign up for our Patreons, the people that donate money. I mean, I could go on and on, but just be on the lookout for a year in review here video coming from me here very soon by the end of this month, start the new year. I'm going to talk about what we've been through and what our goal is for 2024. We're looking at we set up a great foundation, and I couldn't even put a finger on how many lives that we have changed. It's a great opportunity to do this, and it feels great. And every time I ask somebody to be on my board, I always tell them that the pay sucks, man, but the rewards are amazing.
I'll vouch for that.
Yeah, when you see when I get pictures of somebody at a sporting event and their faces are just lit up, and it just does great things to my soul, man. It's awesome, and I can't.
You can't put a price tag on that, Richard. You're doing a great job.
Yes, sir. Thank you very
absolutely.
much. And again, we can't do that without you guys' support. So please jump on the links if you have a few bucks to donate. We'd appreciate it. Sign up for our Patreons. Both podcasts have Patreons. That's how we pay the bills here. Donations to Minutes Wisely. Book sales, all the book sales go to support the show. Paulie wrote a couple of books. His sales goes to supporting the show. So please check us out. And also, before we get to our sponsor, Charlie over at Singletree, I want to talk about the podcast. I've been working hard. I've been telling everybody the website's coming. And so the front page is finally done. And so this is the front page, help stop veteran suicide. That's what we're all here for. And obviously there's a picture of Ford Field because we have season tickets there. That's a picture I took when I hosted a group of deserving veterans and first responder November 19th. And it was the Chicago Bears game. So that's the actual picture from our outing. And below that, you'll see some blogs. I will be blogging at least once a month about veterans and the importance of what we do. So my first blog it's been out there for a little bit, but it's about how to help veterans combat suicide. And also, Eric has so graciously agreed to do sports blogs. So this is where you'll find the blogs. And so the website, I'm doing it all by myself, so it's slow but sure. The main page is almost done, but the secondary pages are still a work in progress. So if you go there and check it out, just know that it's still a work in progress. And so there's only 2 blogs right now. The other blogs are just fillers. It's the same blog over and over again. So, but that's what it's going to look like. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on what is going on. And now a moment to hear from our sponsor, Charlie over at Singletree.
What is going on, guys? It's your man Charlie right here from Singletree Barbecue. Did you know we are on a mission to build community through undeniable hospitality and the perfect plate of barbecue? Y'all come check us out, 2805 Old Fort Parkway, right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 8, Sundays from 11 to 4. Give us a call at 615-307-0120. You can check us out on all the social platforms at Single Tree BBQ. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you. Appreciate all the support.
Thank you, Charlie. And by the way, because of Charlie's all his support, Paul and I stopped by Single Tree Barbecue just yesterday and asked him if he would like to round out our executive board, and he so graciously agreed to it. So Charlie is on the board of Minutes Wisely. All right. So now that the business side is done, it's Selection Sunday. So where do we even start today, man?
Maybe I'll give you my picks real quick. The Final Four is Bama, Michigan, Washington, and Texas. I'm done. Next.
Yeah. So Scott has been very vocal on our Facebook page. So I asked him last minute if he could hop on, and Scott always has some very valid points. It's going to be I tell you what, I'm glad I don't have that job to pick the 4 teams today.
Hey, Bama winning made it misery for them.
Bama.
Yeah, the only thing to make it easier would have been if Florida State would have lost.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been great. If Florida State loses, hey, guys, Texas and Alabama are in,
Right.
Washington, Michigan, and you got it done. There's no argument, but you can't put Texas in and Alabama. You can't put Alabama in without putting Texas in. That's 2 teams, and FSU needed to lose for that to happen. But if you go on merit, I think it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, you got to get Washington, Michigan, FSU, and Washington, Michigan, FSU, and who's the other one? I'm having a brain fart.
Bama.
Yeah, you got to have those guys in because what they did in their conference championship and Texas beat Alabama head up. That's why you can't have an SEC team in there. Alabama beat Georgia yesterday, not convincingly, but they beat them. I mean, they had dominated the game more so. And then Texas won their conference championship, and Texas beat Alabama head up. So that eliminates the SEC. And I'm typically thinking Alabama and Georgia would roll through these other 4 teams, not roll through them, but have a chance to win the whole dang thing.
I agree with you, Scott, but I think they roll through the other 4. Alabama and Georgia are number 1 and number 2 in the country, 2 best teams.
100%. Yeah,
Right
I said that yesterday. I said this. I was at my buddy's house watching the games, and I said, "We're not watching a number 1 and number 8 team right now. We're watching the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country."
And frankly, I think if they were to play in the playoff in the final game or the first game, I think that game goes either way. I think Georgia could beat Alabama next time. Like, I think they're that evenly matched that they're the 2 superpowers in the NCAA right now.
No, you got 5 conference champs, and you only got 4 slots. So next year, when they go to 12 teams, it's going to be so much better.
Yeah,
I disagree with that, but that's another.
Yeah, you got to read Eric's blog.
I think it's rough on Georgia because you go 2 years back-to-back champs. You lose 1 game. If you're going to lose, we all know you better lose in September, right?
Which is what I'm telling you. Which is exactly what I said to you in our back and forth, Scott.
Yeah, exactly. You can't lose late, and that hurts you, and that's what Georgia did. Unfortunately, that's just the way it rolls. And Georgia lost to Alabama, and they're evenly. Alabama is certainly not a number 8 team, correct? They're Michigan, and I'll tell you what, I'm not a Michigan guy, but Michigan plays physical football. I don't know that the offensively they can do it, but Michigan has a slight chance. But it's going to be, well, of course, Alabama I don't think will be in there, so it's going to be. I think Texas has a real good chance. They're playing as good as anybody right now. But
I mean, Ewers is balling out. He had a hell of a.
And they're running the ball.
Yeah, Corum has set record at Michigan, Scott, with 55 touchdown rushes.
Yeah.
For Michigan's record.
FSU yesterday, the 3rd-team quarterback, a true freshman, had more yards than Michigan had yesterday against the Iowa team.
And Iowa has a great defense.
Yeah, Iowa had a top 5 in the country at the time.
That was a good defensive team. It's going to be interesting.
Iowa can't score the ball, but I mean.
Yeah, the over-under that game was, I think, Iowa scoring, what was it?
Minus 6.5, yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole game. So I knew when the Michigan got up 10-0, it was going to be over. So
yeah, no, the AD actually put a stipulation in the offensive coordinator's contract that he had to score 25 points a game. So I'm sure he's fired.
Yeah.
At Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bears will pick him up.
Who think Alabama's getting in? Who thinks Alabama's getting in this thing today?
I do.
I think they have to.
I think Bama, Michigan, Washington, and Texas, Scott.
I think they're going to be hard pressed to leave out the SEC champs out of this playoff.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me make a point. What's the best conference in the country?
SEC, no question.
Then how can you not take their champion?
Okay, you're looking at past years. You're not looking at this year.
No, this year, right now. What's the best conference? What's the best
they don't
conference?
deserve it. Look at the field. Texas lost. I mean, Texas beat Alabama on their home. Alabama's eliminated.
Yeah, but Texas lost to Oklahoma
on a neutral site, not at home field.
Oklahoma's hot garbage, Scott.
they're not hot garbage, but Oklahoma.
But you know what, Eric? Oklahoma and Texas. I don't care if they're both terrible teams. When they play each other, that's the big Red River shootout down there.
Right. But
that's like that Auburn Alabama game and Georgia Tech and Georgia game. Those are in-state rivals. You can't put any paperweight on that at all. It doesn't play out like that.
I mean, it's the same as Washington and Washington State. Like that, people are knocking Washington for only beating Washington State by 3, and that's the same logic. Then, if you're going there,
agree.
Let's agree on one thing right now, first of all, and then we'll get to the next step. Let's all agree on who's going to be number 1 and number 2. I'd say it's going to be Michigan and Washington are for sure ends.
Agreed.
Is that agreed?
Agree.
Yeah.
So who's going to be number 3 and number 4?
Washington, Michigan, and Texas.
Well,
Michigan's one.
Michigan's number 1. Who's number 3 and who's number 4?
I think you have to put Florida State in at 3 because they're an undefeated conference champion. Power 5 conference champion.
Yeah, I agree, but I think that's going to be a mistake. I don't know. I think Michigan. I think Alabama and Georgia both roll over Florida State.
I agree, but that's not the parameters.
I know. I realize that.
You're arguing, and I could see ESPN owns the SEC network. I could see Alabama and Georgia both getting in.
I could see it too.
We've seen 2 Big Ten teams get in before. We've seen 2 SEC teams get in before.
Yeah.
It could happen, and that would be. I think service, but I can see it.
And unfortunately, it's not the 4 best teams, which y'all want and I would like. It's the 4 most deserving teams. And the 4 most deserving teams are Washington, Michigan, FSU, and Texas. This year, I would take the SEC, Georgia, out, like we said. They would wipe through this team, but it's not what it's about.
That's the
I think, though,
part,
the best teams out there, in my opinion, if that's what they're in Bama, Georgia, Michigan, and Texas. I think those are the best teams, in my opinion.
Right, but we're not going by best teams right now. It's most deserving. Like the best teams are thrown out the window. That doesn't matter.
Well, it's a sports talk show, so I'm interjecting stuff, hypotheticals.
Right. We need to argue who's more deserving. I
think if you're Florida State and you go through, they played who was on their schedule, beat them every week with a true freshman, with a backup quarterback, and with their starters. So they did what they had to do, just like Bama did what they had to do. But Bama did not do what they had to do in September, and that's what it's going to cost them.
Right. And same with Texas. They didn't do what they had to do in November or whenever they played.
And that was in Tuscaloosa. So that, to me, drops Alabama out. I don't care what I like Saban, but
that is bad.
He needs to sit home on New Year's on this trip.
But you can't put Bama in there and not put Texas when Texas beat Bama.
Yeah, that's what Scott was saying earlier.
Yeah. And I love the back and forth, Scott. I'll argue with you all day about that.
I don't know.
It's fantastic, but I think SEC is the best conference in the country. Bama lost to a great Texas team. I'm not saying they're not. They were a great Texas team, but they beat Georgia, who hasn't lost in 3 years.
That's going to definitely carry some weight.
And going into this, they were 7-8. So if you think winning the SEC over I think that jumps them. I think it jumps them. It doesn't matter if they lost to them earlier. At this point in the season, it's come down to they're 7-8, and then the 8 team just won the SEC. Yeah, you get jumped.
And also, Scott, let's take the names out of this, right? Okay. Would you rather lose to the 13th ranked team or the 11th ranked team?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think that matters.
Let me interject one thing.
So far down there, I don't think anybody cares, Eric, on that.
Let me interject one thing. And I know Georgia's the two-time defending national championship, but their schedule this year was so freaking weak. Missouri had them over the road. They were down by another team at halftime. They struggled.
South Carolina,
guys. It's not that South Carolina had them beat 14-3 at halftime. Okay, yes. So Georgia is not the dominant team. So we're looking at resumes. Just like we hold Saban to account that high standard, we hold Kirby Smart. We're looking at what they did yesterday. This Georgia team is not the Georgia team of the last 2 years.
Yeah, there's no defending champions.
They struggled. They played nobody. Talk about a weak schedule. They played nobody. Okay?
That's a good point,
and I know
Scott.
they're good. Yeah. They're good, but they're not top 4 good this year.
Yeah, that strength of schedule thing is important, like you're saying.
Yeah, agreed.
Go ahead, John.
No, I agree. There's not the same team. There's no such thing as defending champions in college sports. Unless you bring back the exact same team, which I don't think has ever happened.
Right.
It's not the same.
So let me get this: who's winning the whole thing? Who would y'all say is going to be the national championship?
Yeah, I think Michigan's going to win.
Michigan.
No, I think Alabama gets in. Alabama will beat Michigan.
It all depends on who they pick, right? And who plays who first round, who plays who.
Yeah, for sure.
In the championship,
for sure.
So I'm obviously a little biased. I'm always going to pick Michigan, but.
Yeah, but we could potentially have an FSU Florida State first round, meaning one of them is going to go into the championship. So it could be a walk.
FSU Florida State.
Yeah,
I mean FSU Washington. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Which would make it, I think it would be a walk for Michigan. They would just have to beat Texas or Alabama would be tough, but I think they could beat Texas.
Washington will be one and done. I don't care who they play. Washington is one and done. I would say Texas would be. If Alabama gets in, I'm with Richard. Alabama's running the table. I trust Saban. That defense, Milroe's playing good.
I don't know.
They're not in my book. So what I would say then, Texas wins it all. I would say Michigan has a chance to win it. Those are my top 2 favorites to win it all. If they get in, Alabama gets in, they win it. If not, then Texas and Michigan.
Well, John had a good point earlier, John, when you said that Washington, if they got in, they just don't have the physicality and the size.
Big. None of those teams from out of the FCC are as big. That's the thing. It's like nowadays you can get skill players that are just as fast, just as talented, going to go just as high in the draft, but you don't see Washington's linemen going in the first round of the draft.
All of these games are going to be won in the trenches. For sure.
Scott, let me ask you a question. This one's just for Scott. Yeah. Do you think the NCAA wants a Michigan championship with their coach being suspended 6 games this year? What do you think? What do you think that looks like?
No, absolutely. They do not want that, but they've got to get Michigan in there. Michigan's in there, obviously.
Yeah.
So other than them paying off the referees and some bogus calls going down the way, Michigan is good. They run the ball very well, and their defense is very well. So that they have a chance.
Hey, the script could be in, man. You never know.
Yeah. It's happened before. It's happened in Houston, right, John?
Yeah, man.
How would you like to be the NCAA going up to the stand after the game and handing that trophy to Harbaugh in Michigan? Yeah. Holy cow.
Yeah. Does that give the NCAA a black eye?
So I can see it.
Like, what the?
No, but I mean, that moment for the NCAA to have to do that.
They have to do it, but they'll also be getting quite a big paycheck from all the people watching. So,
Pete Rozelle handed the trophy to Al Davis years ago. Right. There was no more hatred than that. He hated doing that. So it happened. You just have to deal with it.
Yep, I could see it happening.
Well, Michigan with that O-line and that running back quorum, man, they're going to be tough to. They're going to be tough to stop if they establish a running game.
Their defense is good too.
Yeah,
they're big in the trenches too. Michigan's got some size. They're not like Washington or even Florida State.
But here's the thing: the Big Ten and the SEC are different levels. We said the same thing last year, and what happened to Michigan? They lost to TCU.
I will die on the stake that we lost to ourselves on that game.
Yeah, but it's Michigan. They do that every.
Okay,
let's go back to the history of Michigan. If you stay, you will be champions, right? Bo Schembechler literally never won anything. How many natties does Bo Schembechler have? 0. Lloyd Carr won, but he didn't even really win it. He shared it with Nebraska. So Michigan has a history of playing great regular season football, getting to where it counts, and lays an egg year after year for the last 100 years. I'm not talking the last decade. I'm talking the last 100 years.
Something's got to change eventually.
Hey, those
right?
Gerald Ford
Yep.
teams were good, Fleek. Powerhouses.
Well, there you go, Eric. That's archiving it right there, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, you pulled that one out. That was good. Hey, they just have a history of doing it, man. So I don't think Michigan's going to win it just on that alone. History repeats itself.
I mean, on paper, they're top 2 teams in the country. Can't argue that.
The only thing that scares me about Bama, I know
they
Jalen
played,
Milroe
though?
kind of pulled it out, but he was shaky in that first half for sure. He started the game 0 for 4. They had to get the ball running. Obviously, that's going to be anything in a big game. I don't think he's played in a big game yet in his career, right? So, against a better team, he's so I think he's a redshirt sophomore or something like that.
Well, for our viewing audience, today at 11 o'clock Central Time on ESPN, that's when the selection board is going to announce their 4 picks. So if anybody didn't know that.
For people that are watching, man, go ahead and drop who you think's going to be in the comments, man. Let's see what you guys got.
Heck yeah. Bring it on.
I mean, we could throw a whole monkey wrench in the whole thing and put Liberty in there.
Okay.
Or NC State. I mean, if we're just throwing teams in there, come on, give us a shot. We're hot right now.
Liberty's undefeated conference champion. Let's throw them in there and see what happens.
If I had a vote
I go
for
to a
this, I
Conference
would vote
USA
for NC
school.
State.
So,
I think we
Eric,
can all say
let me
it's
understand something, Eric. Next year, you're saying the 12-game playoff is not good?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Football? Why?
I don't like it.
I think it makes this year a lot easier if it's a 12 team.
Yeah.
But somebody's always going to be upset that 13
Yeah.
Yeah, but
team is
it's
gonna
a
be
lot
upset.
easier for the number 13 team to eat it than it is for the number 5 team.
Yeah, for real.
Because whoever doesn't make it today is going to be a lot more upset than whoever.
Guarantee the
13
13 team in the
is this
country
year.
has a couple of losses.
I mean,
not so
think
much
about
the
it, Eric.
5 team.
You don't have
I
the committee
had a
doing this
couple
no more. You
points.
got everybody playing head to head to move up.
Right, but the 12-team playoff is going to take away from the beauty of college football being every Saturday matters, right? You have to win every Saturday. Every Saturday
they're not
is
giving them
a
national
playoff.
champions. They're not handing out a new national champion. You still got to win through the playoffs.
I
which
think
is more
Eric's saying, though,
games.
all you got to do is get to the playoffs. Is what
Right,
he's
all you
saying.
got to do is get
Yeah.
to the playoffs.
It's still
That's
hard
right.
though. Not everybody could be that team,
Yeah.
and especially
It's
especially in college
participation
football when
trophies.
you
I don't
have
want,
these.
I don't want to be that team. I don't want everybody to get
I just
in.
don't think it's as easy in college football to be a wild card to win the champ. Like you still got to beat Bama and
Right.
Texas
which
and Georgia.
which was my second point. You're going to be getting these blowout games in the playoffs. The number 12 Liberty versus the number 1 Alabama. I'm just making up situations, right? That's going to be a 55-0 game. Who wants to watch that?
We see blowouts already. When Cincinnati made it to the playoffs, they got waxed.
and
Michigan State a few years ago.
Right.
If we get 100 blowouts and one of these upsets happen, it would be worth it by itself.
Look, Washington will get blown out the first round big time by 25 points. So it happens.
Yeah, that's true. What if Washington gets a 1 seed?
Right, which is what I'm saying. It already happens. It's going to perpetuate itself when it gets to 12 teams.
I look at it, you got a committee board sitting at a hotel deciding today who's the top 4, which I think that's garbage. And then you got next year's proposal, which is head-to-head competition. You move up the ladder and you compete head-to-head, and that's how it's decided. For me as a fan, I'd rather have that than a bunch of people that got selected by the commission in all these conferences to sit there and pick these 4 teams.
Okay, one more interjection. Good point, Paul. The NFL, okay, if you go by their playoff seedings, they go head-to-head matters. It should matter in college football too. Bama lost, end of story. Saban sat home and do New Year fireworks, whatever. It's what it is, and that's why we can't put Alabama in this year.
Man, it's going to be good at 11 o'clock today.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, man.
I would
I'm
not want to
actually
be those
more
committee
excited about
members
that
at 12
than-
o'clock today.
Yeah, 12 o'clock. I'm more excited about that than the NFL today right now.
I agree.
Yeah,
You
NFL's at
just
that
can't
low
leave
point
a
of
Power
season.
5 conference championship that hasn't lost it at home. It won't happen. I'm just saying.
Right.
No,
I agree,
can't
Scott.
see it either.
I don't care about them never leaving an SEC team out of the playoff. It's going to happen because you can't do that.
Man, this is going to be good at 11.
I think the NCAA is watching this right now, so
Sure.
notes.
I'm sure
One
they
of the
are.
7 people.
Yeah, they should just let us.
They should just let us vote. I'm telling you, NC State's in there.
Well,
man.
that's why we're the Nosebleed
screw it
Report.
all
We're
up.
just
Okay.
getting-
You
We're
would
just
just
the
buy
average
yourself that,
fans
John.
out
No
there.
way NC State's in.
I don't
Exactly.
care. I'll- to the
It's 1 to
death,
5
I'll
in that
vote
one.
for that.
Hey,
We'll lose
people,
by
we're the
100 in the
average
first
fans
round.
out there talking amongst the board here. So, yeah, maybe they should bring us on.
Who was rooting against FSU to lose yesterday on the panel? Make it
Me.
easier.
Hey,
I don't know if I was rooting
I was
against
I
kind
like
of hoping
the
for the
chaos.
more confusion.
I
was
wanted
hoping
them to
Oregon would
win 'cause
too, and then it would really just blow things
well,
up.
I wanted them to lose because I wanted my horns in there.
I think FSU stays at 4, so I think they put Michigan at 1, and I was hoping for that. So I'm hoping Michigan plays FSU.
I think it's going to be number 1 Michigan and number 4 Alabama. I think we're going to have a
That would
freaking
suck for
throwdown.
Man, that would suck.
Here's one.
I
For,
think that
here's
would be
one
the
for
best
you,
game of the
Jason.
playoffs if it
Jason,
happens.
here's one for you.
Yeah,
Would
what's
you
up?
rather Michigan play at the Rose Bowl or at the Sugar Bowl?
Rose
They-
Bowl.
As a Big Ten fan, yeah, the Rose Bowl for sure. It's
They
got
get
just
to.
way
I
more weight.
believe they get to pick which bowl they go to if they're the number 1 seed.
Oh, they do?
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I would like to see them in the Rose Bowl just because it's got so much more history.
First
but
of all, if we're going to do that, I want to see Michigan and Washington in the Rose Bowl. So it would be the last Big Ten versus Pac, whatever number they're at now, 12, 10. It used to be Pac-10, Big Ten. And the Rose Bowl was always the matchup. It was always the granddaddy of the year. But this is going to be the last time that the Pac-12 is in it. So I say if we're going that route, Michigan, Washington all day long. But that's not going to happen because I think they're going to be number 1 and number 2.
And isn't the Sugar Bowl the national championship venue?
No,
it changes every year.
It's in Houston.
Oh, is it
Houston is the
Houston?
national champion. Yep, the
Okay.
2 semifinals are the New Orleans and Pasadena.
Okay. Thank you.
And number 1 gets to pick where they want to go.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're Michigan, you go to the Rose Bowl. Like
100%. I don't even think there's even a question.
No, yeah.
And especially if they're playing Alabama at 4, because that
What was the other option besides the Rose Bowl?
New
Sugar.
Orleans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't think Michigan versus Washington would be as a must-watch like Michigan versus Alabama would be.
I agree. That would be the better game.
I wonder if that's
For
how
sure.
they're going to pick it too. It's just based off what the first round's viewers will be like.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think
Well, there's a business side of this too, right? I'm
Yeah.
sure
Right.
the committee's got to go look. We want the best matchups we could possibly put up there, but then they got all these criteria for strength of schedule and all that. But I think putting the committee also has to make business decisions here too: ratings, money, draw,
Mhm.
all that. I don't know. I'm not in that conference room at the Hilton right now with them.
I'm sure they would trade spots with you.
Yeah, probably right now. All right, we got somebody in the audience. I'll say Michigan and Washington spot is secured if we're saying best teams and most deserving. You have Bama that beat Georgia, but lost to a good Texas team, and Texas lost to a mid-Oklahoma from a team from Ohio.
That's
And that was from Kerr Mark.
yeah.
You said a couple other things.
Yeah.
He also said we lost a good Michigan team. I feel Ohio State over Texas.
No,
Oh, wow.
no way.
No.
Absolutely no way. If that
Yeah.
happens, I will never watch college football again. in my
Wow,
life.
Oh,
that was a
yeah.
nerve
I'm
with
saying
Jason
it
there.
now.
Oh,
If Ohio squeaks in again this year, I will lose it.
There's no way because Ohio didn't even play in their conference.
Dude,
game.
yeah. You can't
There's-
take 11-1 team over a 12-1 team
Man.
for sure.
Hey, Kerr Mark, you just hit the sciatic nerve of NBR.
Yeah. That one, I felt that one down my spine. Jeez.
Holy cow.
Wouldn't that be funny though?
Golly, man.
Not
No,
for
Where'd that
Jason,
come
but
from, Kerr Mark?
absolutely not.
That was good. Good.
I don't
comment.
think you could. Also,
Yeah.
I don't think you could take Ohio over Texas. I think that's a far stretch.
Right. I
Yep,
agree on
agree.
that.
Yeah, I'm with you there too.
Texas is
Jason
a
just
conference
lost
champion.
Hey, and FSU gets their quarterback back I'm saying they're going to be in, but they do get their quarterback back, their second team quarterback back. So they're going to be a better team, and that defense can hang with anybody still. So I wouldn't count them out.
The reason that happened last year, to go to that next comment, Georgia took care of business last year, though. So there was no Georgia, Bama, whatever,
Bama
and then
it wasn't as
second
murky.
yeah, there's a
anything.
lot less like I don't really know how to say it. A lot less confusion.
Yeah.
chaos.
know,
A lot
yeah.
less chaos.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think that was the only reason they squeaked in last year. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be a far
Absolutely
stretch
no
to
way.
say over
Absolutely no
Texas.
way Ohio State gets in. There's
No,
there's
that
5 other
game-
teams that are.
I mean, I wouldn't say absolutely no way with the way NCAA is, but yeah, I agree. I don't think they should be in.
0.01%.
I think that's a far reach.
Yes, 0.01%. I agree. That's a good percentage.
It's like jumping the Grand Canyon with a big wheel.
Absolutely.
they beat Notre Dame in a close one, and then they beat who else did they beat? That was ranked Penn State, and then
They're gonna get enough grief from keeping Texas, Alabama, or Georgia out.
yeah,
Never mind if they keep 2 of them out
yeah.
or 3.
That's a good point.
There'll be a new committee next year.
Good point.
Because if
Or
you put
heaven-
Ohio in, you got to take a conference champ out. And
And
That's
heaven
12
forbid
or
they
1.
leave a undefeated Florida State out. That would be a travesty.
Oh, the big thing today for NFL, you got the Niners and Philly playing each other. That's going to be a fun game to watch. I
Yeah, the
think.
Niners need to kind of cover here too. They need
Yeah.
a big win.
That's
think
going to be
they're
a
favored.
good game. I think
They
that's a
should be, but
3:30
they
game.
haven't.
San Francisco is favored.
Got a lot of rain on the East Coast, but that should be good. The 49ers take that on the road.
That's part of East Coast football too, is weather.
Yeah.
Those Eagles have been playing scrappy this past couple
Yeah.
weeks, though, man. I don't know.
They're
It's gonna be
good,
tough.
dude. They're a good team.
Are they the best
well-built
team in the NFL?
No, heck no. That's a nerve with me. Okay, first of all, the Phillies are the best team in the
Who's
NFC.
better?
I'm not a Cowboys fan. I hate them, but the Cowboys are better. Dak's playing better than Hurts right now. The Cowboys and 49ers are so much better than the Eagles right now. It'll be proven.
You said Cowboys and who?
And Cowboys and the 49ers are better than the Eagles.
But have the
Dak win a big game.
I think they can be better at the end of the season.
Have the
but I don't think they
Cowboys
are now.
have the Cowboys beat a team with a winning record this year? Yes or no?
I don't think so. No.
I don't think
They have
so.
not.
Okay.
The Cowboys' success
are
will
out.
be predicated on the Philly Cowboys game.
They're playing good.
Yeah, and they
they're
play-
playing.
the first-
They're playing good ball, but they're not playing anybody right now.
And Dak can't win a big game
And they're
No,
winning
Dak has
shootouts,
thrown up
too.
some good stats this year.
Yeah.
against terrible
He
teams.
kinda
and
does
when
it every year,
matters,
though,
he
doesn't he?
goes down to the end zone.
And I would rather have Jalen Hurts in the playoffs than Dak Prescott, even if he does have a better season.
Yeah, I just think the Cowboys' defense and overall offense. Hurts is better, obviously, but I think the Cowboys' team is going to be better. They lost to Philly in Philly, which they could have won that ball game. And I know could have, would have, should have, but they didn't win it. They play them next time in Dallas. Dallas is the complete better team.
I
Yeah,
think
that's-
they
that's
can
next
be
week.
the better team by the end of the
Can be.
year. But right now, I think the Eagles are the best team.
Philly Dallas is next week, the second game.
Right.
So
Well, in about
And I think
4
they can win
hours,
that game. I think Dallas would win that game.
4 or
Win
5
that,
hours,
yeah.
John, we'll find out who's better head to head, Niners or Eagles.
Yeah, Niners are good.
I mean, we'll find out today on that matchup.
How about the Broncos winning 5 straight?
Yep, they're
Who
coming
they have
along.
today? Are they on a bye
Who's
week?
Detroit got today?
no,
New
they're-
Orleans.
They're
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Seems like Detroit needs to come back a little bit from their
Denver's
last
in
2
Houston this
losses.
week.
Yeah, I was a little down on the Lions, but Eric last week reminded me that the Detroit Lions did play 3 games within an 11-day span. So
Yeah, that's
I'm
tough.
going to give them a pass on this one, and we're going to see what happens in New Orleans today.
And what about the moon? Can't forget about the moon.
I did a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
studying
Yeah,
about
and it was
that.
the moon. Yeah,
Got
but
a little
Hit
bit.
that one.
the Lions are gonna. I thought the Lions were gonna have an easy stretch going down, but the Vikings are playing decent football. They still have to go to Dallas and play at Dallas. So I don't
Denver,
think
gotta
that the
play Denver
NFC
coming up.
North is not a lock by all means.
Denver's looking a lot more terrifying too.
Bingo.
Beginning
Who
of
would
the
have
year.
thought
Yeah, we
that
have
after
to-
they got 70 hung on them? Who would have thought
Yeah,
that? But Sean
exactly.
Payton has turned that. Man, the culture. We all doubted Sean Payton for what he said about the previous coach there, Nathaniel Hackett. But he has turned that thing around. And that's coach job of the century. What he's done with that team after getting 70 hung on them.
Yeah.
They are a good defensive team.
Russell
And-
Wilson's playing, yeah,
pretty good.
Since we're
playing
talking
very
about
Bounce
the
back from something like that.
phenomenally right now.
Since we're talking about the Broncos, the Detroit Lions have broke a record with their 5th
Prime time.
Yes, thank you. Primetime game. That game just got flexed to
Saturday
to
night.
an evening game, Saturday evening.
I tell
That's
you
what
what,
happens
the
when you play
Broncos
good
are on the
football.
outside looking in, but if they get in, they could be a dangerous team. I don't think Kansas City's all that
Kansas City's not the
think
team
they
they
are,
have.
Yeah.
but the Broncos could be a factor.
I agree,
That's-
Scott.
Yeah, well said.
Yep. I like the Dolphins in the AFC.
Yeah, they're definitely winning the North.
Now
No,
but
East. I'm sorry, East.
You're talking about a team. They haven't beat a team with a winning record either, but we still think the Dolphins are good, right? So you can't always
Yeah.
base it like the
Chiefs.
Yeah,
Dolphins beat
exactly.
nobody with
Yeah.
a winning record.
That's a good point. Yep. I think the Dolphins. I'm not a fan of their coach. I don't like the guy. I think he's doing a good job with them, but I just don't think. I don't know. He's just weird to me.
He's definitely weird. He's hilarious though.
But-
I like him, yeah, he's a good
I
but
like
he's-
him.
He's a
But he-
character, that's for sure.
Yeah,
He's
He's
different.
definitely got some speed on that
he's
team.
definitely weird.
He's got the six
That
fastest.
team is scary fast. Yeah.
Miami's got the 6 top fastest guys in the NFL on their team. The top 6 are on that team.
When it comes time to the playoffs, though, it's still the trenches are going to decide it. I think you got to win up
Yeah.
front.
Yeah,
we got to
but
mention
have-
Houston too. What a turnaround in Houston! Wild.
Houston.
Stroud's looking like the pick of the year.
Yeah.
Hey, and how do they get it right? I mean, I grew up in Houston, so I got all these Houston fans, friends commenting. They finally got it right, but it's like Purdy. That's not an exact science, and it ticks me off because I want the guy, and I don't think Pickett is our guy, but I'll take him for now because the jury's
Right.
still out. But they got it right with Stroud,
Yep.
and I thought he was better than Young, but I really didn't know about him. I mean, I
Well,
didn't think
this
he
is
was
the
gonna be
thing,
this good.
Scott. On Stroud, the problem he had is he has all the attributes athletic wise, but when he took that Warlick test or whatever that test is,
Yeah.
he bombed it. And some
Yeah.
NFL teams got scared that, well, maybe he's got some sort of comprehension issues or something. And that kind of, I remember in the draft, that kind of pushed him down a little bit after the test results came out. But look at his play on the field. Look
Right,
how
it's
good
awesome.
he came. Look at him.
Yeah, I mean,
Here's
he's
the-
also-
going to win Rookie of the Year. He's going to
Houston
win.
also, they went out and got guys that he wanted.
Yeah.
They asked him who
Tanked
he
out.
liked, and they went out and got him. And now he's got a team that he could work with. So they built stuff around him. They did a really good
And
job.
here's the deal. Good point. Here's the deal. The NFL, they can measure height, weight, and physical traits all they
Yeah.
want to, but they can't measure somebody processing something at the line of scrimmage. In
Right.
college, you look at everybody. Like I was watching Bo Nix the other day. Everybody's just watching the sideline. They're not processing that defense. They're living. The coach is letting them tell them what you're going to do. They're not making any decisions. Okay, so when they get to the NFL, they're sitting there, and you don't know who
Oh.
can process the information.
Well, and
Well, it's
that's
a
the other
script
thing.
in
I played
college.
football with guys that ate crayons for lunch, but on the football field, these guys were freaking dominating, So, you get that aptitude test. I get it, for especially quarterbacks trying to learn books and the plays and all that. But that's what did it to Stroud is they got the NFL got some of the teams shied away from them because of that.
And you know what? They'll be in the mix because there's only 8 of them. 8 good quarterbacks. When I say good quarterback, I'm talking elite quarterbacks. If you go through the list, there's truly only like 8, okay, that we talk about that you've got to have. And he's going to be in that mix. So the Texans will always be in the mix if you can surround yourself with that talent. Not to say you're going to win the Super Bowl, but you're going to be in the mix. And that's all you can ask for. You got to have that quarterback. You don't have the quarterback, you're going to have a Trent Dilfer. You got to have the 2000 Ravens defense. That's the bottom line.
Yep.
Yeah, good luck.
So speaking of elite quarterbacks, the Jets just opened up the door for Aaron Rodgers' return this year.
Why? That is so stupid. Why is he coming back?
Have you not,
You
he's
should
not
just
been working
sit.
out. He's
got
He's
something
a,
to prove
yeah,
us
but I
something.
mean, it's stupid. He's a franchise guy for next year. Why even come back at this
Oh,
point? in
because
the year?
there was a thing in the trade. There was something in the trade that said if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play 65% of the games, then the Jets get to keep the first round draft pick that they were going to give the Packers, and which
Oh.
he did not play. So
Yeah, but I think that's already busted. I don't think he can
Yeah.
fulfill
Could he-
that.
Could he meet
that's what I'm saying.
65%?
So they get to keep their draft pick and they get Aaron Rodgers.
But John, could they meet the 65% at the
I don't
with the
think he
remaining
could. I don't
games?
think. No, we're over. Are we
No,
halfway through the
He
season?
played like 12. Yeah, he played like 12 minutes, and there are already
Yeah, so
12
yeah,
games
he's
to
good. He
run.
can
Week
play the rest of the
13.
year, and they'll still get to keep their
All right.
draft pick.
Hmm.
Yeah, but there's
Okay.
no reason for him to play. Is the thing. Like they're 4 and
Yeah.
7 right now. The
Yeah,
Dolphins
it's-
are what 8 and 3.
It's stupid.
I mean
It's a-
the
yeah.
I guess
Just
the
for the wow
AFC
factor,
standings are
he'll want to play.
I think somebody needs to take Aaron Rodgers to the side and have what we call in Chicago a sit down and put some sense into his bucket.
I think
Go, look,
Rip needs to take him to the train station.
yeah, that damn show's not going to come out till next year now.
Hey, all right. Before we wrap up, I want to hit what I think I want to do is I'm going to hit Paulie's corner here. And then when we come back, we're going to do a little round table, and I want to hear everybody's top 4 for CFP. Are you ready there, Paulie?
Bring it on.
Alabama, I'm sorry, guys. You know what I got? I got a rant about Alabama fans. You know what, people? Get rid of your stupid minds on Facebook and have some damn class.
Good morning, everybody out there. Welcome to Paulie's Corner. I hope you had your muffin and your coffee. It's time to break out the popcorn. So today, the commissioner of the NFL is once again acting a little crazy. So what he wants to do right now is he wants to get rid of this particular play and ban it in the NFL. You see it?
Lift it up a little bit. There you go.
There you go.
He wants to ban the tush push. Why? Why? Because Philadelphia's running it every other game and they're scoring. I mean, a tush push for the audience is when the offense is on the goal line and they got like 1 yard to go and for a touchdown, what they do is they hand the ball off to the running back and then the big guys get behind them and they push them over the goal line. Or the quarterback takes the ball and he tries to dive over the goal line. In the meantime, all the big guys are pushing him from behind to help him out. What that play's been going on for years. I mean, I don't get it. To change a rule in the NFL, you got to have 24 out of the 32 owners to rule on that. I don't understand why that particular play would be banned. It's part of football, and so no, leave the tush push in the game. That's it.
So, probably bring up if you guys can you bring up your little thing again?
Yeah.
So what makes it so effective is you got
down.
upside down. The Eagles' offensive line is ridiculously good, right? But B, you got the tight ends lining up right behind the quarterback, giving them an extra push from behind. So it's like they're creating two, basically, not behind him, not on the edge, but right behind him.
Right there.
Yep,
Right
right
there.
there.
Two tight ends
Tight
pushing
end,
him right into the center, basically.
Oof.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. You got to find out how to stop it, but I'm just saying that's what makes it so lethal.
I mean, you got to get yourself 1 yard away, first of all. So,
Right.
Good point, John. Good point,
Yeah.
Jason.
I'm not I say leave it in there.
I like it. It's a good play.
Yeah,
It
I
works
like
too
it.
well. That's why they don't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, they came up with it, and it's
Yeah.
super effective. So, I mean,
Yep. All right. So top 4. I'll say I think I'm gonna go with my 1, 2, 3, 4. I think Michigan is number 1, Washington, then Florida State, Alabama. Jason, who you
going
got?
down the line. Okay.
Go
think
around the
we-
corner.
Oh, okay. I think Michigan, Washington. I think Bama jumps Florida State, and then Florida State at 4. That's what I got.
Paulie.
I got Bama number 1, Michigan number 2, Washington Texas number 3, and Washington number 4.
You're gonna put Bama at number 1 with a loss?
Yep.
Bro.
Put him on the committee.
What in the
Put him
hell?
on the committee.
Hey, you doubt Saban then. I'm not.
Scott, who's your top 4?
I've got Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3, and the Seminoles number 4. And that's book it. That's what the committee will agree with me today on that.
Man, put it in.
I'm putting
Oh,
money on it,
that's good.
and then if I lose, you got to reimburse me.
Yeah.
All right.
Do that.
Eric, what do you got?
Well, first of all, Scott, it was great banter today. Thanks for being on the show.
Yes,
Loved
sir.
it.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
thanks, Scott.
Yep, I got Michigan number 1, Washington 2, Florida State 3, Alabama 4.
My man.
Am I the only one that has Bama number 1?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
You're the
ridiculous.
only one that
That's
has anybody
ridiculous.
but Michigan at number 1.
Yeah.
Hey, last but not least, John. Don't say
No,
LeBron. Do not put
LeBron at number
LeBron
1.
in your.
The
Put
goat.
LeBron
Do not
in
put
there
NC
and-
State in.
NC State at number
Says
2.
LeBron, I'm leaving.
LeBron and NC State.
I've got Michigan, Washington, Florida State, and Texas.
I could see that, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm the Lone Ranger.
There's no question. As soon as you said it, we all knew you were the Lone
Yeah, we're
Ranger.
like, what the?
Yeah, and you thought my picks were going to be bad.
You should have muted them.
Well, why don't we just see what happens at 11 o'clock?
Yeah, we'll be back.
We'll all be wrong.
Because you all got the crystal ball, and apparently I got a Nerf football.
Hey, first of all, I want to bring up the fact that at 11:45 yesterday morning, I sent out a group text and I said Bama by 3.
Yeah, you
I
did.
swear to God. And when it played out, I was like, holy shit, man. Not only did I say that, I jumped on DraftKings and I did a parlay of Alabama to win the money line and total amount of touchdowns and yards. And of course, I won my whole $16.
Hey,
Nice.
by the way,
Dude.
are we still doing? Where are we at on our NFL picks for this
so-
season?
We haven't even
We haven't
been
done those. In
we
like
haven't
6
even
months.
picked that up.
Yeah, I think that fell to the wayside.
Yeah, kind of like
Yeah,
Alabama at one.
Well, the problem was Jason was in charge of it, and he's too busy going to school and going to work. So once he gets freed up, we'll get back to that.
We can do it for
Graduates,
playoffs if you want.
jeez.
Whoa, okay, easy.
I'm with
easy.
Richard. I
I'm working on
talked to Paulie last week. I had Alabama beating Georgia. I never doubt in my mind. No doubt in my
Yeah,
mind.
do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After
I felt it.
after last weekend, I was like, there's no way in hell Georgia's going to win this. They've been just that level of success. You cannot sustain it, especially when you have Alabama in the same division. It's just not going to happen. I knew from right from the get-go, Alabama was going to take care of business. Never count out Nick Saban.
Also, you can't forget Georgia lost 10 players to the draft on
Yeah.
defense last year. That's
I'm
crazy.
I'm hearing a
Yeah,
lot of Alabama
exactly.
talk on this show right now, and I'm the only one that picked them number one.
well,
They're not going number one though, Paulie. That's
They're
crazy.
not number one.
They can't. They can't. It's
Man.
impossible.
The
You all
league would
know-
be on fire
If you would have said Alabama's going to make the playoffs and run the table and win the national championship, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
But they're not number one in the country.
All right. Well, we're going to at 11:26 today. We're going to find out. And if Bama's
not
number
number
one,
they might be
you
the
all
best
gonna
team,
hear the
but
end
they
of
will
it.
not
There
get
is
the
no
one seed.
way in
They might be
hell.
the best team. They will
I
not
hope
get
they
the
get the number one seed.
and I don't even like Saban.
Hey, Paulie. Look here,
what?
I love you. Though. Love you. man.
Yeah. Hell yeah, buddy.
Oh, here we go.
That's right. All right.
Off the rails.
I agree with you on something though.
Well, you know what? That's what the beauty of it is. You know,
So,
we can disagree.
Francine, it's funny that you say that because I was just thinking in my head we should do a wrap up after, but I think Jason,
How'd that
everybody's
work?
schedule is too tough to get us back together. But I agree. One of these days we should definitely reconvene and talk over that. But all right. With that said, we've been yapping for 49 minutes. Again, we are called the Nosebleeds Report for a reason because we really don't know what the hell we're talking about.
At all. At all.
We're
Yeah.
sitting up in the nosebleed section, just acting like we know what the hell we're doing.
Go Bama!
The main
All right.
object of this show is to save lives. So if you could please jump down to the description there, click on a link and support us. You get to support us just by liking and sharing this video, the YouTube video. We'd appreciate it.
Following us on
but-
Facebook.
Anything helps. But yeah, we appreciate y'all. And Scott, thanks for jumping on last
Scott.
second.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good Sunday afternoon. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, somebody's idea was, hey, Scott Henson was putting a lot of banter on, and it makes a lot of sense. I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think about it. Let me text him real quick. So just
Enjoy
so
it, guys.
people are watching that knows, Scott Henson was literally, when I say last second, he jumped on 3 seconds before we went live. So
And,
we really appreciate you.
About Eric's daily articles, we appreciate your great work, Eric. Thank you very much.
Yes, and he's got an even bigger blog that's on the website now, minuteswisely.com. Again, it's a work in progress, so don't criticize me too much about the website, but it's coming along. His blog's there. I have a blog there. Whoever else wants a blog, let me know. We'll get you up there. Thanks again. Go Lions today, and hopefully Alabama makes it in because I want to see them run the table again. But I'm not an Alabama fan, but I just think they handle any three teams.
There we go, Scott.
In
You
there.
got it, baby. There you go.
There you go. The terrible towel.
That's right, baby.
Oh, my phone!
You guys,
There you go.
what was that, yo? I missed that.
My wife is a huge Packer fan, and she's on the couch.
Oh no!
Oh,
I know.
Jesus,
Rick,
man.
Hey,
Bring it on, Chiefs! Bring it on! Bring it on!
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Hey man,
That was
Hey.
awesome.
up Bears, up Bears.
I know.
All right, guys. We'll
right,
see you
have a
guys
good one.
next Sunday.
All right.
Hey, Kobe.
Hey, Kobe.